Vivian. We're here today with another episode of Frock Talk Television, and I am super excited. You know how you hear someone's voice and you think they could read the phone book? Just the way they enunciate, there's something about how they just graciously say the words. That's not me, by the way. I know, and if you've been watching this, you already know that. But we are so excited today. We have someone to showcase who is fabulous. She is many different, she plays many different roles. But when I first talked to Rosemarie Barnes, there was something about her that just grabbed my attention. Now, I already alluded to the fact that she just makes words sound delicious. I don't know how she does that. It's like a recipe. But she does so many things and helps so many people. I don't want to steal her thunder, so I'm going to ask her to walk us through. But before I do that, just a reminder that if you're watching this, you're meeting here today change agents. These are people that are making impact in the world. They're making a change. They've stepped into their true genius so that they can help you step from out of the shadows and into the light. I like to say, move from best kept secret into success in life, love, and business. It is not enough to exist. It is not even close. What is important is that we step fully into what we're supposed to do. So I am honored and privileged to work with people like Rosemarie who are doing that and making all of us giving us access, giving us the opportunity to do what we do best. So without further ado, I'm going to have Rosemarie come on and share a little bit about who she is, what she does, and then I'm going to ask her a few, pointed questions, although I know she'll make those sound delicious too. But that being said, Rosemarie, welcome, and thank you so much for being part of the show today.
Thank you for your ever so gracious welcome, Joe. Those were delicious words, and I'll tell you, they were like sugar to my ears. Thank you.
Thank you. So tell us a bit about, what you do. I know a lot about what you do, but share with us a little bit more about what you do and why. Why do you do it? Because that's really what I'm always about is, who we are is one thing, but why we do it is what really matters to me.
Joe, the story is long because when you're older than dirt, you have a lot to say. So I'll keep this as short as I possibly can. I am a public speaker, and I speak about anything to do with confidence. For example, I speak to leaders in today's business world about what we have to change in order to reach our new generation of workers. We can no longer use that broad brushstroke and get what we need for them and for our companies. So we have to change that. So I speak to them about that, how to reach that confidently. I speak to many people for many reasons, but one of the things that I love to do is help people find their way to speak. I love to help them find a vehicle for their passion. When people get up to speak, it's not enough to just say words. Speaking is so much more. And when you've got something to say that can potentially help someone, if you can reach someone, then you owe it to your audience to be able to say it in the very best way possible. So I have become a certified speaking coach in order to help other people share what they know.
I love that. And I believe everything that what you're saying is so important, because the reality is we're all out there trying to do our best, whatever that best is. And communication is the critical component to having, to inviting people to either work with us, get to know us, whatever that may be. And if you have a business, clearly, if you have the ability to share that effectively with confidence, it changes everything. I'm curious, have you ever worked with someone who's been extremely, petrified and had them be able to step into that confidence and be able to take the stage with confidence and command attention? I'm curious about that.
I have done that so many times, Joe, because I was fortunate enough I am a certified teacher in the school systems. And in Alberta, I taught theater and music and English and a whole bunch of things, but my specialty was theater and music.
Mm.
To take a fledgling actor and teach him how to take a written word, someone else's written word, and turn it into magic on the stage, when really they are just barely tipping their toe into this world, and they're scared to death.
Yeah.
So a lot of times with actors and with students, I spent more of my time counseling them about confidence than I did teaching them about acting on the stage, because it is one and the same.
Mm-hmm.
If you have the inner confidence that you can do this, and you have to bring your own self to it, then that translates. And it doesn't matter whether it's a stage or a boardroom or a classroom.
Mm-hmm.
It is all speaking to reach someone's emotions. And therein lies the trick to public speaking. It's not words. It's not, you must do this or the world will be angry, or it's, you must do this because your heart is telling you to do this.
Mm-hmm.
The speaker's job is to create an emotional attachment with his audience, each and every member.
I totally agree. And I love the way you share and the emotion it evokes, which is clearly why you are who you are. But I remember the very first time, I mean, you know, the old adage about people are afraid to speak at their own funeral, like comical, but I remember the very first time I got up to speak. I wish I would have known you then. There were 300 people in the room. They were all staring at me, and their pens were ready for me to say something important. And my eyebrows were shaking. I got hysterical laryngitis. No words would come out. I literally was screaming into the microphone. Now, I was fortunate. I think they took pity on me. You know, because when I was done, they stood. I think they stood because they felt relief that I was still standing and I hadn't passed out. But you know, certainly it would have been better to have been able to get, you know, to get my words out. I got my emotion out because I couldn't talk. But, you know, what's really been amazing about that journey and how important it is that the more, you know, we can speak one-to-one, or we can speak one-to-many, which is what you do, I believe, in teaching people and having them and just, you know, standing beside them, so to speak, and helping them overcome that. Because I totally agree with you. It's not the words. Man, if it was the words, I'd be in big trouble. Okay? It's not the words. It's the passion and the compassion and in my world anyway, and the absolute dedication to wanting to make that happen. But with a skill set like yours and what I've even watched, even in the short time I've known you, the way that you pace, the way you speak, is so different. I'm constantly speaking too fast. I have to catch myself. You know, I'm not just saying it for saying sake. I'm saying it because you are very, very eloquent. And there are days I think I could be like that. I just have to hang out with her more. So I'm excited that you do this. So how long have you been in this world where you've been teaching people, helping them be able to stand up and command and take their own stage?
I moved from Alberta to Vancouver Island 2.5 years ago.
Okay.
I was a little naive, I guess. I thought, because I'm so remarkable, that I could just come to the island, and because I'm a music specialist and a theater specialist and an English teacher, that I would be able to get a job teaching. Well, first of all, teachers in British Columbia make so much less than they do in Alberta. Mm-hmm. And secondly, I moved just in time for the teacher strife, followed the next year by the teacher's strike.
Yikes.
On the other hand, I seem to have a 7-year life expectancy for careers, and my 7 years was about up anyway. So I started my company, Confident Stages. It was about being confident and handling yourself in a confident way, no matter what stage of life you're in or what stage you have to be on.
Awesome. I love that. And, you know, if people can understand, you know, the one thing I would say is that, again, we all have something really big. We're put here for a purpose. And when we learn how to speak confidently and stand in whatever that message is, you know, in terms of being able to deliver something so we can make a change in the world, that is where the most joy comes from. To me, it's absolute joy, freedom. You know, it's about being able to contribute. We were just doing, recently we did an interview with someone who spoke on the living joyfully, and that was one of her comments, you know, being able to do that. I think the other piece to that is how we get where we're going. So, you know, when I think about yourself and how you've come, you know, you've moved from one province to another, what was your catalyst for deciding, you know, I want to take this to a bigger audience? Because clearly you have the experience to go anywhere. So what was the catalyst to saying, I can work with entrepreneurs, et cetera, et
cetera? Entrepreneurs are alone.
Mm-hmm.
We have solopreneurs and entrepreneurs and corporatepreneurs, but entrepreneurs are, and especially here on the island where I think we have more entrepreneurs per capita than anywhere else on the whole planet.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because here there are no huge corporations. There is no massive industry. So if you want to contribute what you do to the world, you have to do it on your own.
Mm-hmm.
Being an entrepreneur is frightening. Mm-hmm. Because no one person can know everything enough to make a business truly successful.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You can know your stuff, but perhaps the accounting books are going right over your head. Perhaps it's the marketing. That's my issue is I know what I have. I know what I can do for you. But in my world, selling yourself and boasting about yourself is absolutely verboten. No way, no how. So I have a terrible time with marketing. But I can help people state their case. I can help people reach the people they need to make themselves successful, to make other people successful.
Mm-hmm.
It's a whole feed and eat cycle. So it's a natural component, isn't it? To go from students who are, I mean, that's the cause of teenage angst, isn't it? Is that they don't know who they are, so they can't communicate it, so they get surly, and then they pout, and then they act out, and on we go. Well, we think as adults that we're better than that, and we've grown out of it, and that is so not the truth. Absolutely not. We have just learned to put a lid on it when politically correct to do so. And at that, we're not very successful. So if I can help someone find out what it really is that they need to say to be successful, and then give them a vehicle to use it and get their message out. And if I can teach them the value of what they're doing and people need to hear it, and how, you see, the trick with being a speaker is it has nothing to do with the speaker.
Exactly.
What's in it for me is what a speaker has to think about for their audience. For a speaker, it's not what's in it for me. For a speaker, it is always, what can I give you?
Yeah, I totally agree. And I love when you're talking a little, you were sharing about the entrepreneur being solo. It is such a, for lack of a better way of saying this, it's such a kiss of death in the entrepreneur world to think you have to do this alone. We don't have to do it alone. And, you know, having access, and thank you for being so vulnerable and saying, you know, marketing's not my thing. That's an area I'm very comfortable in. And I made the transition from it being salesy and whatnot to service, because I know that I'm not going to serve everyone, granted, but those I can serve, I'm darn well going to serve them. I'm going to serve them the best of what I have. Those I can't, that's okay. Somebody else can serve them. But thank you for being so honest on that. And thank you also for bringing up that really critical point about we get isolated, and we need to surround ourselves with people that are driven, that have skill sets that we can tap into and go, well, this person's good at this. I'm not good at that. That's okay. I don't have to be good at everything. And I love when you talked about the bookkeeping. I Absolutely. I'm dyslexic. I should never do books. Okay. I am the worst person to touch anything to do with accounting. However, for years I did my own bookkeeping. It caused me nothing but angst. Further to that, I probably made a ton of mistakes because I had to keep going through it. It was not a best use of my time. So I love that. And I think the biggest thing that I take when I talk to you, when we've had the opportunity to connect and have a cup of tea, is that, if we have this message and we don't take it to the world in a way that people can understand, and if we're not confident or enthusiastic, why the heck would somebody else be about our product? And how do I gain confidence from someone who's not confident themselves? So, it's okay if you're watching this, I want you to know something. My story about the 300 people is absolutely, I thought I was going to die. Okay. In fact, dying would have been preferable to where I was standing in that moment. It was horrible. I mean, these people put all this faith in me. They booked me and I said I had a message, but I hadn't had the training. I didn't understand the others. I didn't understand the piece about, I wanted so bad to deliver the right words. I wanted to serve. I wanted to deliver the right words, though. And I have to say that over and over again, because really at the end of the day, people don't really care about what I said. They cared about how they felt. They felt sorry for me. I would much have preferred they felt like I knew something. But that was my story and that was then. So, it was what it was. I'm so thrilled that you're doing what you're doing, Rosemarie, because it's critical, because it is a part of their marketing mix to be able to talk. And I'm going to bring on Sue in a little bit about what she does, because I see it as a very valuable stream or a flow, that if you have that, then you can bring that to many. And again, I'll bring Sue on in a couple of seconds to share some of her thoughts on this. But what are some of the ways that people can work with you, get a hold of you, things like that? How do we get to know you more and get to listen to your beautifulness?
Oh, you are so wonderful. You can sit by me everywhere we go. Of course, you can visit my website at www.confidentstages.com. And after months and months, my new website is finally up, because I felt that video was the way to go. A, because video is the way to go, and B, because I'm a public speaker, and does it not make sense to have my video showing you what I do in person, live, speaking with a mouth? I can help individuals. I can help corporations. You see, when you're in business, whether you're in a little business or a big business, but most particularly in huge corporations, it doesn't matter where you are or with whom you are speaking. If you are talking about business, you are public speaking.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's so vital that you understand what to say, how to say it, what your body language is saying, what your tone of voice is saying, in order to make sure you are doing your business good, thereby doing yourself good, and thereby being available to help others with what you do.
I so agree. I so agree. And it is such a part of the sales process, actually, because, and we're all in sales, doesn't matter what we're doing, whether it's trying to convince a 5-year-old to go to bed on time, or whether it's trying to, impart why this product might serve, or this service might be of service to someone. And so if we are lacking in the ability to either evoke emotion or talk to people that make sense for them, as you said, what's in it for me is really where I come. I don't mean when I'm speaking, I'm always looking at how can I serve? How can I serve? How can I serve? But that took years. And if I had known you, I could have taken years off my own angst, because I would have focused more on the end result versus the exact words, because people weren't. It's important to obviously be able to communicate that, but also to be able to stand and know that you are serving. Because when you know that, it changes everything. So, Well,
and like you, Joe, the woman that you see before you now going, oh, look at me, go ahead, listen to me. And if you don't like me, that's okay too. This person is, I'm not going to say self-created because nobody lives in that bubble, but I too was bullied beyond belief in my youth. I too didn't know what path to take. I too had my fair share of extraordinarily difficult bumps and whatnot, and they're still going on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But through it all, you learn what it means to acquire confidence and how important it is. And if I can spare anybody just 5 minutes of that pain and learning where to find that value in yourself and the courage
Mm-hmm.
to get to know yourself and like yourself, if I can spare anybody just 5 minutes of grief, then I will have died a happy woman. That's my purpose, is to leave the world just this much better than I found it for somebody.
Mm-hmm.
You can't know what that is like if you haven't gone through it.
That's so true. Yeah, when you've walked in the trenches, right? Sorry for interrupting.
That's fine, that's fine. But on the other hand, some people are born with confidence oozing out of every pore of their body. That's not to say that they can't share that.
No. No.
But not everybody is confident in every area. So the person that comes going, ta-da, I'm here, somewhere inside them, they've got something that they're not sure about either.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they're worried that their parenting skills aren't up to snuff. Maybe they're worried that in business, their marketing skills. Everybody has something where they question their own ability. They question their own value. So confidence really is about what you hold to be true in everything you think, say, feel, and do, and to what lengths you will go to defend it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love, I could probably listen to you read the phone book, but this has actually been much better and much more informative. I love what you've shared, and I love the vulnerability, and the truth is that's when we make the impact in the world. And I'm going to invite Sue to come on with us, and I just a shout out for those of you watching for the first time. Sue is our co-producer for Frock Talk Television, and she is, I call her my big brain friend, and many other things, but mainly, they're all nice though. She has been such a force in terms of getting our message out there more and showcasing more change agents in the world. The reality is that we're no longer in a world of one-to-one. And I'd love Sue to share a little bit about that as well, because I think it goes right on track for what we've been talking about today. So Sue, come on in and share, please.
Yeah, okay. I will. And again, every interview we do, something hits me and hits home. And there's two big points that have hit me with this interview with Rosemarie. One is I was an academic prof for decades. And so I'm used to public speaking. I've been teaching medical students, residents, talking to medical staff for forever. So I was used to speaking, but there's different kinds of speaking. And when I decided that, gosh, the old idea of retirement would have just bored me silly, and I had this passion to try and help women get out into the world and live their best lives, I came into this other kind of speaking because, although I do the techie stuff, I do a lot of speaking too. My most difficult thing, well, I hate the word thing, but my most difficult transition was going from the didactic prof to the audience to exactly what Rosemarie said, the point of service. And what can I give you? How can I serve? And that's not that it wasn't in me, but it's a totally different way of talking. Mm-hmm. And I think the world has changed, and Rosemarie and I have talked a lot about this. The world is going to change, and public speaking, presenting yourself, is going to become more and more and more important. And as Joe mentioned, one-to-one doesn't work anymore. The world is one, me, Rosemarie, Joe, you, to the globe. And at the moment, there's 4 billion people online, but it's predicted by 2020, it's going to be 7 billion. So the whole thing now is open yourself up to the world. And that's with video. And there is no difference between public speaking and video, because video is public speaking today. Mm-hmm. And so I think what Rosemarie offers, this whole opportunity to become confident and present yourself well, is not only a great confidence from the inside, but it also becomes a route for success for you, because that is how you are going to market yourself and reach more people from now on until, well, I think quite soon we're actually going to be holographically zipping ourselves all around the world, which would be bad for the airlines. But I think that still involves public speaking. It doesn't matter how you do it.
Mm-hmm.
Today, you need the confidence that Rosemarie can give you to go out there and speak to the world. And the sooner the better. So that's my 2 cents.
You rock, and you're so right. And for those of you that don't know, and you have a little fear, you've got 2 assets right here on this interview. Reach out to these women, reach out to Rosemarie and get the skill set you need to take it up a notch, to, raise the bar, whatever you want to say. You'll have better words than me, and I'm not the wordsmith, but I am the girl that can tell you this. You have an important message. We need you to show up. And then once you've got that skill set, see my Sue, my big brain Sue. That's what I call her, because you've got to take your message to a bigger market. It's not about whether we're sitting on the island. I'm sitting in South British Columbia, okay? My little town is about 10,000 people, and yet I know that you can be watching this in Australia right now. So this is our time, and it's our moment. And I want to thank both Sue, my co-producer, and Rosemarie Barnes for being here today. We're going to send this information out. We're going to be posting it in various places. Please, please, I implore, beg, you name it, I don't care. Do what you need to do to take your message. Stop standing in the shadows. Step into the light. This is not cliche. It's time. It's time for us all to play a bigger game, a better game, and move into success life, in our life, our love, and our businesses, because this is what's going to change. We don't need to be quiet, but we need some tools and some skill sets to get us to where we need to go. So again, I want to thank Rosemarie. Is there anything you'd like to add before we sign off, Rosemarie?
Only what a pleasure it is to meet you 2 powerhouse women. You are dynamic, wonderful women, so full of sharing and kindness, and it is an honor to know you.
Oh, thank you.
Oh,
thank
shucks.
you.
Thanks, Rosemarie.
And it is my honor to be with the 2 of you. And again, for those of you watching, please do what you're called to do. There's an old adage, and I'm pretty sure it was Mark Twain that said there are 2 important days in our lives: the day we're born and the day we know why we were born. And if I'm, changing that up a bit, just know I'm giving honor to him anyway. The truth is, when you know why you were intended to be here, it is the most amazing time. And we have the skills and the resources to help you step into your life. So until we meet again, have a frockalicious day and take care. We'll see you on the next episode of Frock Talk Television. Bye-bye for now.